microphone again. Yeah. Oh, well. It's a $1 operation.
I think I have $1 too.
Do you?
Do we need? Are you starting a fund?
People are hearing this.
Great.
It's usually I go, shh, they can hear us now. Oh. But they can hear us now.
Okay.
It's okay though. It's a real $1 operation. And my guitar is out of tune. Beep, 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 beep. Welcome in, everyone. Look, it's Adela.
Hello. Look, it's Michael.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. This is my first time in this lovely establishment.
The Songwriters Lounge, the joke I usually make is somebody burned popcorn in the microwave again. Like most lounges, teachers' lounge. But nobody does. Because the only two people who usually come here on a regular basis would be Blue and Josette. And so then I would be implying it's them, which it isn't. They don't.
They're not the sort.
They don't.
I don't think so.
Blue does other things that are moderately, I wouldn't even say annoying, just funny. Dan's nodding his head yes. Annoying. That's okay. But he does things that will make odd smells.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Many do.
We went right there in the first minute and a half. That's okay. Well, welcome in anyways. Welcome to the Songwriters Lounge. And you and I met at, although I had seen your name many times on the interwebs, when we were at this past August at the Black Dog Vinyl, that big showcase thing. And our conversation was struck up. You mentioned I was wearing a Queen shirt.
Yes, and I love that seeing a Queen shirt out in the wild. I used to have a Queen shirt. When I was little, I did not know that they had made Queen shirts that you can buy in stores. So what happened was I was like 9 or 10 years old. I got one of those like steamer, you know how they used to have those iron-on like designs. I printed it out from my dad's printer, like a Queen logo JPEG, very blurry from the internet, and ironed it onto this orange shirt.
Nice.
And wore that thing until that thing just fell apart.
What was your attraction to Queen? Just like random parents listened to it? How did you find Freddie and the Boys for the first time?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure because we had a Queen's Greatest Hits album in the house that my mom would occasionally play, but she wasn't a big Queen fan and neither was my dad. So they would play it every once in a while, but I just remember at one point in my life we were on like a road trip or something and I was designated to pick CDs to the car, for the car ride for a road trip. My brother would pick some, I would pick some. And I saw this like shiny gold, big double album kind of a disc. And I was drawn to it, put it into the car player. And I just remember driving down the highway to like, what was it? Another One Bites the Dust or something like that. And just being like, whoa,
right.
Who are these guys? And the fact that another thing I remember is every single song was so different. And yet so good. It wasn't like something, because I'd listen at that point to like a Bon Jovi compilation CD, no shade on them, they're great. Or like other kind of greatest hits where you have this similar sound throughout. But Queen, man,
it
every
goes
song
from here to there to there.
It was like a theater operation, you know?
My brother worked in a record store when I was a kid, and I've said this on the show a bunch of times, so people who've heard this have heard this. But so I would sneak into his room when he wasn't around and listen to his records. And one of his very best friends in the world was a fanatic, like the true fanatic of Queen. And so it was played a lot when his friend was around, his buddy Don, and they listened to all kinds of stuff. But Queen was something that was on the record player a lot in the other room, and I was gravitated toward Queen records. And my brother also, because of the way concert tickets were sold in 1979, 80, 81, you bought them at the record store. You didn't get them on the internet because it didn't exist.
Whoa.
And for when I was sixth grade, he got fourth row tickets to Queen. That was my first concert.
Stop.
Right.
I'm gonna cry.
Right. So
like first concert was Queen.
Right. Literally. And so
Man.
Every other concert has been worse.
Yeah, it's downhill from there.
Forever.
For the rest of your life. I'm so sorry.
Right. I saw Freddie from here to the pole. when I was like in 6th grade.
I'm too sleep deprived from this. I am tearing up because that's awesome.
Right.
And I'm so jealous that I will never get to experience that. I did get to see Queen when they were touring Brian May, Roger, and Adam Lambert.
Which got great reviews.
Yeah, that was fun, you know. And Adam Lambert is a great singer, but
Freddie was the man.
Irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable. If you ever, there's a video that exists called Live in Montreal, I think.
Yes, I know
Okay.
it. Mm-hmm.
That was recorded 6 weeks after I saw them. Wow. So like I didn't find that until recently, and my brain was doing all kinds of like weird flips because all of the imagery in my head that still existed from being a little kid was all of a sudden back in front of my eyes because I could. It was the exact staging, the same clothes. Like it was they only had like a wardrobe trunk full of clothes. It was 6 weeks later. It was 6 weeks later. It was insane. And I watched that whole show thinking, oh my gosh, this is exactly when I saw them. And I was into all the songs and all the like. That was it was an incredible experience. And then my brother, being several years older than me, and his friend being completely nuts and fanatical, was determined that we were going to find their hotel after that. So then we drove around. It was the Rosemont Horizon or whatever it's called now. The Allstate Arena was brand new. We hit every hotel in the Rosemont area trying to figure out what hotel they were in. And I was in 6th grade and I had to go to school the next day. So those are the experiences that made me write songs and chase this music thing my whole life. So
Incredible.
It was really fun. It was something that I will never forget. So and how could you? Right. So and that's how we met. So it's a much longer story than usually.
Sorry.
It's very.
You said the magic word Queen, and I was like, yes, let's
interesting.
go.
Well, see, as the audience can see, this is exactly what happened in the corner of Black Dog Vinyl, and we began speaking, and blah, 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 and then pretty soon 20 minutes went by.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. And what was your first concert then? I told you mine.
Nowhere near as cool.
Well, few are. I know.
So my first concert, I can tell you exactly what I was wearing and where we were. Oh, I don't remember the name because I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. Oh, that was a spooky. The ghost dropped a backpack. Oh no! What does that bode for the rest of the session?
I don't know.
And regardless, it was for a Polish band that was touring in the area. So my parents come from Poland. Oh, I smushed my microphone. My parents come from Poland. I'm the first generation here. And when I was in Polish school, like about elementary school age, there was a very big band called Feel that blew up in Poland. They had a song, I believe, that aired in a soap opera that got really popular. It was called like An Angel's Voice. And the song was about, this woman who has this angelic voice. And it turns out at the end of the song, she's dead. And of course, one of those very dramatic soap opera type of songs.
Right.
But I loved it being 9 years old or whatever, thinking, yeah, wow, how sad the story is. And they also, to be fair, had a great lead singer, very strong voice. And later on in that first album, I remember it did get really like heavy and rocky.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Was it mainstream instrumental?
It was mainstream. It was it's like a rock band. Your typical 2000s rock band, instrumentation and feel wise. And yeah, they were on tour in the States, just a couple cities that had really big Polish populations. And so my mom, I think, surprised me with tickets. And I wore my best shirt to that concert because my first concert, it was a yellow long sleeve shirt with butterflies on it.
No,
and
I'm
I just
laughing.
remember.
I have two sisters, and I'm laughing because like I can recall both of my sisters telling stories and then describing what they were wearing, like what shirt or whatever thing, or I had the blah 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 and the this, and you go, okay, great. I had jeans on probably.
I don't know. I think it added to like the sense of innocence. I was wearing this butterfly shirt, front row, my first concert.
Well, but in your brain, you can still picture the feeling, and this was a special shirt, and you knew it, and this was your and I get it.
It was a special place. As a kid, you go and there was a lot of adults there, like and all these people with this music.
And somebody was burning leaves.
It just smelled a little funny, maybe, but it just the experience.
How
of
come
being
they're
in a
burning
rock
leaves
club.
inside? I don't understand.
It sticks with you, right? So that was my first concert.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And
not Queen though, so
Well,
I'm gonna hold that over your head the entire show.
It's like it was a wonderful experience, and I've had a number of people go, "Well, you can only go down from there." And I go, "Yeah, I know, kind of. It never gets any better than that." And it was the only time I got to see him as well, so I never saw him again. So, but still grateful, and it's a pretty wonderful thing. And any first concert it's the event, the thing when you, if you end up being a person who ends up like sucked into this world somehow, the allure, the romance, what at any performance thing like that, there's something that makes, it's the proverbial, the cartoon finger going, "Come on,
Yeah.
this is you want to come over here, or you don't want this, do we?" Anyway. No, I think I do want that. No, you don't want this, do we? But it's for sure. There's something about a concert setting that makes you go, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Yeah.
All right. So.
And I get the feeling sometimes, rarely, sometimes these days, it depends on where you are. Not like the concert feeling, but this feeling of like there's no safer place. I think that's one of my also feelings. Like the first time I felt that this was like a very safe space for people. We're all together in the same place. And everything else melts away, and it's just the music.
It tends to be like-minded individuals,
Yeah.
especially in this day and age. Like if you're at a venue, oftentimes you're in a group of people who have a similar, so you feel less guarded, maybe. I think, at least I do. You have an EP coming up. Do you want to do a song? Are you going to do a song from your new EP? What's the name of your EP you're putting out?
Cello. Was it cello again? Cello, comma again, like hello again, but cello.
I
again.
actually sometimes I don't get it, but I did get that one.
So, because I'm releasing another one. Whoops.
That's a pretty good title.
But it's actually also the first EP of mine that I'm dedicating to just cello-centric songwriting. So all of the songs are songs that I've written using the cello as a bass, and building on top of that. But they all started there.
And how far are you getting? Pretty close? You still got a couple weeks, couple months?
I'm hoping to release it in November.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
it's
pretty
not
close.
totally done being recorded yet, but I think we're gonna do a Bandcamp release and then worry about like physical CDs or something like that after. So that's the plan right now, and it was sparked a little bit. I wasn't sure if I was going to make an EP. I kind of got really burnt out from music earlier this year, but I went to a wonderful, treated myself, I guess, to a little like a songwriter camp vacation thing on the East Coast, and I just remembered why I loved it so much. Met amazing people who, man, everyone who was there just wanted to better themselves as a person and as an artist, and I was like...
Now, when was that?
End of July.
Okay.
So I
not
literally,
too long before I saw you.
on the drive home, I called up my friend Rick from Handwritten Recording. I'm like, hey, do you have any openings in August? Because I have so many songs that I want to write now. I feel like it opened the floodgates again, and
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So were they things that were half done, things that were sort of like pieces and parts that were started that were sort of like, because that's what happens to me. Like I have pieces and parts and things like in the attic and in the basement and stored all over the place, and then and maybe were they all new ideas or were they all?
Some of them were it was about 50-50. So I started with songs that were kind of more stuff that I put away in the attic. One song was pretty much fully done, being written. That was from 2020. I had written it to kind of be a meditative thing, and I was feeling like nowadays we are also in need of centering music because there's a lot happening that can overload our brains right now and our souls emotionally. So I started with that, and then the camp actually helped me kind of unlock some things I was hiding away that I didn't know I wanted to write about, stuff that's pretty personal to me, and that I would usually hide behind with different metaphors or not bother writing about at all. And for some reason, being in nature, I think, and being surrounded by literally just songwriters for like a week, gave me courage that now I wonder if it will continue now that I actually talk about these songs, to real people. But yeah, well, not real people.
I don't know. That's why I laugh, because like it's a different thing, because when we're amongst ourselves, it's a different it's a different like language, and there's a different level of communication, and it's like it's much more accepting of these things and concepts. But then there's other people who go, what?
Exactly. Yeah.
But part of the reason why I created this thing, or when I started, it all happened on accident. And again, people who are new here, this thing started on accident, and it didn't start out as this. Wasn't like there was some grand plan and a business thing written out. It just started as me playing songs, and it turned into me talking to and inviting people on, and it's grown organically over the last months, almost a year. Mm-hmm. And I keep getting these wonderful people like you who go, yeah, I'll come on, and I go, okay, cool.
It's fun.
Well, right, and we talk about songwriting, and the idea is that I've met also a number of people in the last year, because for me, which you may not know this part of the story, for me, I gave up on this. Like, I've written songs my whole life, but I quit a few years ago, like, had enough, can't do this. Yeah. And some people talked me out of it, and I started playing again, and for the first time, people started actually paying attention. I did some things differently, and I'm trying, a different approach, different mindset, different people, different friends, different, and different things are happening. But the other part of it is a service element, a giving back, a thing of, like, I realized I'm in recovery and being struggling with my mental health issues, and when I like, instead of being hiding behind it or making it a metaphor, just this is the deal, and being out front with it connected with people, and it made it something that was relatable. And then in talking about songwriting, I met a bunch of people at open mics or at different places that would be, because I just started playing my originals, and they'd be like, well, how do you even write a song? I go, I don't know. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I don't know. I just always did. And then I started thinking, well, just do it. I don't know. And then I started talking about and so then I would say, well, I do this show and I talk to people who write songs. You should watch. And so half of the idea, I keep doing this, half of the idea is to just, if somebody's watching who thinks that writing a song is some, impossible equation that you can, like, you just try, like, and just sit down and watch a handful of these episodes, and you watch every single one of us goes, I don't know if that's any good, or maybe this is crazy, or I don't know if this is something I should talk about, but it's amazing the similarities that all the different people that I've talked to have such similar things that we all think about, as far as like putting it out there, or the apprehension, or there's not too many, I'd say pretty much zero people that I've talked to are like, yeah, this is great. I know exactly what I'm doing. Ha ha. Nobody. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the thing. You just have to try. And that's the thing that I'm trying to convey to people who are like on the fence, like wanting to write songs, or feel like they could write a song, or just try. Right. Mm-hmm. And stand up there. And the bad news is, you're going to try, and a few of them are going to suck. Yeah. They're going to be cruddy. You're going to write some cruddy songs, because I've written a whole bunch of cruddy songs. But along the way, you write a couple of good ones eventually, but you can't just write a good one without writing some bad ones. So that's the whole nature of this. So why don't we do a song of yours, if you got one that you want to play?
Yeah.
Nah, I came out. I don't want to play, Mike. Forget it.
Imagine if I did that.
That would be funny.
We talked about this before the camera started rolling, about songs, not being sure what song to play.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, we had just finished talking about starting songwriting again after a little bit of a break or whatever. I think what we'll do is I'll do like that meditative song, because I'm starting to feel a little nervous. I don't have a lot of sleep right now. And this song starts off the album, or the EP rather. It is a very meditative song. Sometimes I write songs to self-soothe a little, when I don't understand how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling. If I feel like I'm spiraling, anxiety-wise or something, I'll just sit down and I'll try to think of like something soothing. And the first thing I thought of in 2020, when I was trying to grapple with a lot of different things, was just try to, do doing a little jazz-inspired bass line almost, like, you know, walking up. And where can I go with that, right? I might be getting a little out of tune. Anyway, we're gonna just really quickly check. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, you can.
So this
Take
is
your time.
this is a tune that is called "What's in a Name," and it's just kind of a meditation about centering yourself again. So. Cobbled lanes, streets after the rain. What's in a word, in a name? A memory that waits patiently for one day to awake. Feathered head, mornings in bed. What's in a word, in a song? A feeling so strong that it leaves tributaries on your face. Want or not, friends we forgot. What's in a word, in a sigh? The way we once tried to believe is who we must become. Must become. Don't get me wrong. I know it won't be long till the sun rises from everything on anything at all. Want or not, friends we forgot. What's in a word, in a cry? The way you once tried to believe is who you must become. Must become.
Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Stunningly
Maybe that was
beautiful.
too quiet. Maybe that was like too slow of a song to start on. But I don't know. It just, we're talking about meditating, and like you started going into mental health, which I think is something important in these days. And I've been, you know, pretty anxious lately, and I think writing songs, speaking of people who are interested in writing songs and maybe scared to start, like a soothing song is a good place to start. You know?
For me, much of the reason that I even do this is just there's no other reason other than to the therapy, the self therapy, the self medication of just creating this thing to get it outside of my own head. It's not anything more than that in most cases. It's trying to make sense of whatever crazy soup is happening in my brain, and oftentimes I don't even know what's happening. And by creating that thing, it allows me to like look at it from a third person perspective and go, oh. I didn't think that's what I was thinking there, but I guess that's what I was thinking there. So I think that was quite beautiful. I really enjoyed that.
It's got some cool. Also, another thing I guess want to mention about for that song in general through the album, one through line is all acoustic sounds. So in the album version of that, I actually have my bows over there. I have like the different layers of bow strokes on different parts of the cello to create the background instead of a synth pad, making my own kind of synth pad.
Right.
By just like plucking different parts of the cello, having like a bow scratch, having an acoustic double bass, and having everything be strictly acoustic instruments on the whole record.
Ironically, many of those weird sounds are something that was an acoustic sound that was captured and reproduced digitally anyway. Yeah. So that's a cool thing. And that was called again?
That's called What's in a Name.
What's in a Name. And the EP is going to be called again?
Cello Again.
That's right. See? Yeah. I already forgot, but it's because although I've been sober a long time, I wasn't for a long time, and so I forget things. You were, now, I learned yesterday that you are involved in radio in many facets, and you and some friends are embarking on like an internet radio for folks who creative types such as yourself and my friend Kenny P. Mitchell.
Oh shout out to Kenny.
Who we were supposed to do something. He's like, "Oh, I'm recording with Adela tonight," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh, that's gonna be a great song. That's gonna be a great song.
I was like, "Wait, you know she's on the stream this week?" He's like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, I don't understand. And then he told me you guys have known each other a long time, and you used to play at the open mic that you hosted, and then and I was all these tidbits of information. He's like, ask her about her radio thing. And I was like, wait, I don't know any of this stuff.
So, you know, I'm not unique at all in the fact that I think like many of us here, and there's people in the studio, and also I'm sure yourself, you know, when you get into the music world, you just end up working in a bunch of different facets in music. And that makes things interesting. It makes things chaotic, a little hectic sometimes, but it's a very interesting path. And my path since college has taken me into radio. I've been on the air for a couple of years. Right out of college, I was on the air at a Polish-American radio station called 103.1 FM. I was one of the afternoon hosts there for a couple of years, and then transitioned over to classical radio, where now I'm working more behind-the-scenes production, that kind of a sort of element. And as I was working in different capacities in radio, you know, one trend I was kind of noticing across the board is a lot of stations are either losing funding to do cool programming, or they're getting kind of bought out by bigger stations, and then the cool kind of niche stuff is being taken away through those buyouts. And so I don't know, you know, if a lot of us, I feel like there's been a couple people who've been feeling this way, as well as myself recently. And so one of the new ventures that we're starting on as a passion side project is trying to find a place to create a radio station online that caters specifically to niche. We have two goals: catering towards niche radio shows and podcasts, things that are kind of hard to pitch if you're trying to do this for profit. For example, I'll name off, we have currently one podcast that we're airing that's called Opera Box Score, which is a sports-style radio talk show about opera. where they approach opera world as like, oh, we're going in the huddle now.
I don't
and
see
we're-
how that would not land on any major radio show.
You know, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I'll take your word for it. You're an expert.
Yeah, it's people are the risk taking isn't there as much anymore in some of the like bigger spaces. So, you know, we have a couple of those programs. We're just for fun. We're going to air them. We have already started to air them. And there's another podcast / radio show that's coming out that I'm super excited about. I can't speak too much about it, but I can say it's about, it uses field recordings from India of traditional folk music, which I'm really excited about.
Cool.
So that's one half of the idea. And then the other half of the idea was amplification for music that often kind of falls through the cracks. So we clarified, we specify that as like a few things. One is independent musicians. So we're wanting to help independent and small label musicians get their voice out. But the second kind of angle is we're specifically trying to focus on giving a little more of a heads up, a little more attention towards instrumental artists. So we do have people who are already airing on the radio station who are songwriters. Kenny, of course, is one of the guys that I've reached out to initially. He's very much in the rock realm, but
Right.
a lot of as somebody who's worked in music now for, since I was probably 14 years old, one thing I've been noticing is it's hard enough if you're an independent songwriter to get your stuff out there to be heard. If you're a composer,
Right.
man, that's a whole nother ball game. Because now not only are you writing your
less
own
of a
music,
mainstream genre.
it's less mainstream
Right.
genres like classical, jazz, and
Right.
experimental.
Right.
You have to find people to perform your stuff for you, to record your stuff, because often it's not enough to just do it yourself. You're looking for an orchestra or someone else to hire, so there's an expense there. There's an expense in performing it, to have spaces large enough to hold larger ensembles. So I have a very special place in my heart for composers and of any genre, whether that's jazz or classical or whatever. So we're trying to give them also a little bit more of a place where they can exist and be introduced to people who are also looking for interesting art regardless of the genre, right?
Yeah.
That's
a beautiful thing.
To sum it up in a nutshell, yes, it's similar to what college radio does. I did get a hate comment about that recently. Isn't this just what college radio does? It is. However, we're trying to approach it from people who have more experience in the industry. And also, hell, I'd rather there be like 50 stations like this than one station who has one DJ that airs
because
to
there's
50
so many
cities.
places for this. There's too many now. There can't be another one. That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
So there's a little thing. It's called Sounds Radio, amplifying sounds. We're so clever. And our catchphrase is art beyond the confines of genre.
Beautiful.
So
That's a beautiful thing. I'm glad that Kenny hit me to that, because that sounds like a really great thing, and I think you're doing good work, and it's just good work. I can't
and
think.
we just recently launched, so you can listen to it right now. And we are looking for music submissions as well. So just go to www.amplisoundsradio.com. It's still a little bit of a work in progress. We don't have an app yet. We will at some point. Still, we're all doing this for free. So
Right. You're doing it on the side, outside of regular work, outside of all your other stuff and working. But it's a good thing. I will make sure at some point to get a link in. I'm starting to get things in descriptions. But that's a new thing for me. But I'm trying. But I've just started doing that. So okay. So that brings us to the album side of the week, which I specifically chose, even though I did pick this record previously. I did. I did pick this record today because I do have a small record collection, and when we were speaking, I bought this record.
Yeah.
This was sitting on the table. I was wearing a Queen shirt, and I bought this record at Black Dog that day. And the side one, I've done this already on the show, but I'm doing it again because it was so influential to me. The year, this is 1980, and I think this was probably, well, I'm not sure, but this, I know that Another One Bites the Dust and Crazy Little Thing Called Love were gigantic hits.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
there's a whole story about Another One Bites the Dust and the drums, right?
Yeah.
How he hated the drum sound. He's like, we're not going to go disco. You're making me dead in my drum sound. And then it took off in the charts.
Right. The side one is Play the Game, which is a great song. Dragon Attack, which
Underrated.
my primary instrument is bass, and when I was just learning to play bass, it was like I just played that song on a loop over and over and over again. Another One Bites the Dust, and then like this side one of this album, I played like learning to play the bass was like beginning. I poorly played it, of course, but I tried really hard to play all the songs. Another One Bites the Dust, Need Your Lovin' Tonight, and Crazy Little Thing Called Love is the last song. And did you ever hear the story of Freddie writing Crazy Little Thing Called Love?
I don't know that I did.
I think I may have some of these facts distorted, but I know he wrote it in a very short period of time, 20 minutes, in the bathtub.
Oh, yes, this is coming back to me now. But
Like,
continue,
and he got out of the
Yeah.
bathtub, and he the only thing he had was a guitar because he was in a hotel. He didn't even have a piano, and so he wrote it on guitar, and he hated playing guitar, but he played it on guitar on stage because that was, and somebody had said, well, the fact that you stink at playing guitar actually lends itself to how, like rudimentary, like you play it and the way the song comes off, and anyhow, it was it's a wonderful story. I tell it poorly. Freddie tells it much better. So it's a great record. I'm not doing a song off that record, but I was I realized when I started that there's something. So I was trying to figure out, like you were like, what am I going to play? I tried to decide. I was going to play something different, but I decided to play. I started recording, although I have a full recording studio and I can produce other people, recording my own music is nearly impossible for me. I'm terribly. I've always struggled with. I hate everything that I record, and I end up just deleting it and going, "That was terrible."
Oh.
Well, right. I'm working on it. There's a psychological professional in my corner these days, and we work on those things. And I did start working on recording this song. Now, the backstory to this song is I a number of years ago I did maybe 4 years ago I did like the internet dating for musicians, where you meet other musicians online. And this guy had never written any songs, so we wrote these songs together, and then it turned out it wasn't gonna. This isn't gonna work out.
Yeah.
And I said, but if you want to record a song, just make sure you credit me. And then of course he put out an album with all the songs we wrote together and didn't credit me. So I did not write this one alone. Very few songs that I do have. I try to credit folks.
As you should.
As you're supposed to, right?
Supposed to, yeah.
Right. So it bothers me that he put out an album and didn't credit me on it, and so I tell that story frequently because it really gets on my nerves. When I do put this out, his name will be on the proper credit, but I did not write this one alone. I make sure to point that out. But this is called If You're Not Careful, and there was a point where I have 6 children.
Wow.
Many people don't know this, right? That's the frequent. That's
Well, in this day,
right.
and age.
That's a frequent response. That's okay. I'm used to that. But in being, a father of teenagers or kids that are, like getting to, late 20s and like difficult choices begin to happen, and
Sure.
I was having a conversation with one of my kids, and and this was about the time that we were working on this song, and it was part of the conversation we were having, and many of the words in the song were about me and this gentleman having a conversation about me discussing stuff with one of my kids about, and I just said, be careful, it'll get away from you if you're not careful. Like all these things in life, you be careful. That's all I'm saying. And got me thinking about lots of different stuff and a lot of reflection and a lot of this and that, and then so that became the point of this song. And I started recording it this week. It'll get away from you if you're not careful. Tried so hard to hold on. Walking the line between careless and fearful. Searching for somewhere I belong. Don't seem to recognize this face in the mirror. Deepening lines start to show. Some days of sorrow while others are clearer. Searching for a hand to hold. You know I've fallen down before. Now I've arrived here at your door. It's always darkest before the dawn. I was drowned in, then you came along. It'll get away from you if you're not careful. Tried so hard to hold on. Walking the line between careless and fearful. Searching for somewhere I belong. It's always darkest before the dawn. I was drowned in, then you came along. It'll get away from you. 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 It'll get away from you if you're not careful. Tried so hard to hold on. Walking the line between careless and fearful. Searching for somewhere I belong. I sang the whole song with phlegm in my throat.
Very impressive. Quite impressive.
The whole time I was
Been
thinking,
there.
there's a place. Is there a place here I can clear my throat? There isn't. There
Yeah.
isn't. There isn't. Oh, no, not here. Then in the middle, I was like trying really hard while I was in the middle.
Oh man, you know,
Didn't go away then.
It's
It's terrible, right?
well, it's absolutely the worst because
Have you ever had to sing a song while you had to burp?
yeah,
Right? And then you're trying to burp just a little bit.
it's not something I've really had to think much about because honestly, historically, I've been in the background every single time. Usually, when I've been with bands or whatever, I'm like somewhere in the back. Oh, la la la. In the last like year or two, I've started singing more harmonies as I'm singing cello and things, and now I'm having to worry about these singer problems that y'all have all the time.
Right. So when I used to drink a lot, I'm recovering many years, but like in the days when there was always this table was specifically for beer. In fact, my
Beer's the
sister
worst about
had a standing order that if there wasn't a beer on it, to put a beer on it.
Yeah.
And so like, but there would be times where like I got really good at like being able to like burp little tiny burps between words. Dan knows. Anybody who drinks beer while they right, it's part of the skill.
Oh my God, that's incredible! Wow.
Right. These are things you don't know, right? You people who don't sing, you don't realize this is what you have to do. This is what we go through.
Yeah.
Those of us who sing. So, all right. So, if you, well, all right. So, one of the major questions that I always ask is, what is your favorite ice cream?
Oh.
Serious. I
It
told you there's a couple
depends.
serious
Man,
questions.
that's a serious question because
Right.
it really depends on the time of year. But you know what? I'll always anything that has like little brownie bits in it.
Sure.
Anything, I'm always down for that. So like I don't know, like a little one of those. It's moose tracks, but replace the peanut butter cups with like brownies.
Sure.
It's some jewel,
Any kind of thing
whatever that one's
that
called,
works.
or like a.
But you said it depends on the time of year. So
yeah,
like
so like in the summer it's pistachio for sure.
Okay.
Pistachio or black cherry.
Okay.
And usually later in the year, do that like brownie thing. And if you have like a little cinnamon, sprinkle a little cinnamon on top of your ice cream, like a chocolate ice cream. It becomes cinnamon chocolate ice cream.
I really don't work that
pretty
hard for ice
freaking
cream.
cool.
I just take the
Listen.
scoop and put vanilla in a bowl.
But you have to. But then when you adorn it like this, it becomes more special. Like last night.
Did you have ice cream last night?
I had ice cream last night. Let
Right
me tell you
on.
about the ice cream I had last night. It was a butter pecan ice cream. It was delicious. But, you take that little extra time. I took some mint leaves, put it on top. I took some fresh. I had gone picking raspberries the weekend prior, and I just washed the raspberries and I put them on top of the bowl, and then you just eat it. And those little it elevated it from like a 7 to like a 10.5.
Sure. I can agree with.
So.
I like that's the best answer to that question that I've gotten in the year that I've been doing this. So you win.
That win ice cream.
I could probably go get you some, but it'll probably be vanilla. Just so you know.
That's fine.
I like vanilla ice
Vanilla
cream.
gets too much hate. It's
I-
a good
I
ice
like
cream.
a standard vanilla bean ice
Good
cream.
ice cream.
Sometimes I'll throw a little fruit in there, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't spend too much time messing around. I to get right to the business of it. So the other major question is, what's your favorite color?
Also kind of depends, but usually I rotate between.
I won't accept that as an answer. It
Aw.
depends. How could it depend? You don't. It's not your favorite if it changes.
That's true. What does that say about me, huh?
I don't know.
If I have to choose, I would say you gotta go with blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And probably more in the blue-green side than the true blue side. Yeah.
Like
Like a
I'm
teal of sorts.
teal.
Mm-hmm.
Teal. Okay.
Yeah.
Cobalty blue, teal blue, teal blue.
Yes.
Okay.
One of those. Yeah.
One of those. All right. Those. It's all serious. Now you have any gigs or
Gigs
anything
of sorts.
specifically you want to
Yeah,
promote?
Sure. So I have a lot of stuff coming up. For me, as somebody who doesn't really play out too often, I'm releasing that EP. So I've kind of just filled my time with a couple different things. One of them is a really exciting thing happening next week. A couple of storyteller friends are joining me who are they write their own like short stories and poems and stuff. And we're going to be doing it's called Haunted Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be trading scary stories and scary folk songs or folk-related songs at Uncommon Ground in Chicago.
Oh.
We're going to dress up as like spooky people. And I was going to say what we were dressing up as, but I'm
Don't.
like,
No.
it's going to give it away. All I can say, it's very much themed. There's going to be different sections of the show.
Okay.
It's the first time we're trying to combine storytelling with folklore, and I wanted to do something like this for a long time. So we're doing that, and
Now, is
because-
Halloween a favorite holiday of yours?
yeah, it didn't used to be, but I think I've kind of gravitated more towards it. I've always liked the there's something about, yes, scary stories, but also about like the spiritual, kind of feeling that October has that I've always enjoyed. The contrast too between like Halloween and then the next day being like All Souls Day, always really interested in me. So yeah, I would say it's a passion of mine now, especially as I've gotten older and I've realized kind of that horror and scary stories can do us good to keep us vigilant and aware that there's always bad things happening, in the world. As awful as that sounds, sometimes reading a scary story makes you realize, okay, you can laugh it off and be like, hey, haha, it's just a scary story. But then, for me at least, I sometimes end up thinking about, okay, well, I can laugh this off, but somewhere in the world, people are going through horrible things, and I find myself being more self-aware of the horrible things.
Having gratitude for
having gratitude, and actually, I bring this up because all of us are very passionate about making sure people who are into horror and scary stuff don't get a bad rep. You know, like I think we all share that sentiment of like it's something that forces us, actually motivates us oftentimes to go out into the world and make change. Remembering that there's always kind of weird stuff happening in the world. So I don't know. That's one thing. That's next week, and then I'm doing
Now, do you have a website of yours?
I do. Yeah, it's adelas.net. It's very rudimentary. I also have a link tree that has all the stuff coming up. But to quickly list it, I guess we have the Haunted Harvest. Then I'm also playing an original show with Bometheus, a violin player, on later this month. That's original music. I'm opening up for a charity. I think her name is Charity Thompson on the 24th. Original music. And another thing that I want to shout out is our annual Leonard Cohen concert, which also happens the week after that, or 2 weeks after that, on November 8th. We get together a bunch of songwriters in the area, pay tribute to Leonard Cohen at Art Gallery Cafe. It's songs in different languages because a lot of times a lot of Cohen's stuff has been translated into multiple languages all over the world. So it's our 5th one this year, so we're really excited about that as well.
Okay. I did actually put links to your stuff in.
Thank you.
I know, this is new to me.
I appreciate it.
This is new, so it's there.
Yeah.
So people can find links in the comments. So so that's great. That's wonderful. Now, do you have another song that you would like to do?
Yeah, speaking of spooky, this is a song I'm not going to do on the haunted night. But, oh my God, sorry.
Ow.
I'm sorry, everyone.
No, that's okay. You have to do your tambourine.
Do my tambourine. I'm actually using it this
Did
time.
any of you guys pee your pants when that happened?
I'm sorry.
All right, good.
Well, is it spooky? I'm keeping you on your toes. This is not a song that is going to be at the spooky show, but it is a song kind of relating about the spooky side of human nature. It's called Swindle. It's out on all streaming platforms. And I wrote it because I just feel like we are being pulled, greater humanity is being pulled in the Western world towards increasingly doing things for comfort without thinking about its impact on other people. Whether that is something like, get rich quick by investing into all this, AI technology, or all this, hey, war bonds are going up, invest into this, whatever. And people are trying to take the easy way out. Not necessarily from a sense of malice, because people want to survive in this world, but I feel like increasingly we're being asked to consume more, do things more for ourselves, and then we don't realize that a lot of people are suffering now and in the future will suffer because we're choosing to do things. So that's what this song's about.
So a super lighthearted one.
Super lighthearted.
Right on.
I want to show my two kind of dichotomies, I guess, in my songwriting is I have this meditative thing, and then I'm also exploring these darker things. It's called Swindle. I'm going to take a sip of water before I start, though.
That's all right. Take sip. I was hip to this tune, and I've heard great things about this song. So no pressure, nothing.
No. All right.
No worries, though. No pressure.
I'm going to crank the reverb a little more for this one. Sorry. Okay. just a drop of water for a thimble. £1 of the closest hearts that you can swindle. Don't forget the words when you come in. Oh, fine. This is just a job like any other. Cut ties, they won't understand the gold you seek. Fools don't know the money they can't see. But you and I, na 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 ya, 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 na 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 na. Now, did you think that you knew what you're doing? Bleeding heart, no one ever counts the casualties. Don't forget the way that it's won. And na 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 ya, 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 na 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 na. If you slow down and you looked up, what would you see? You know what threw me off a little is like I didn't realize how much I guess I'm right-footed as well as right-handed, and I was like, oh, this feels very funny. The funny thing.
So you were getting jingles when you weren't wanting them?
I was not getting enough jingles sometimes because I was like, how does my left foot work? Anyways, that was the song. So you have the two extremes of Adela now.
Beautiful. Is that recorded?
Yes, that's out everywhere. It's called Swindle. You can find it on. Actually, no longer anywhere. I'm taking my stuff off of Spotify. So.
Right on.
Yeah. I think Swindle's still on there because it's my latest one, but it's all in the process of getting out of there. So
Are you putting it somewhere else?
it's on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Right now it's all the other ones too. So except for Spotify, I'm just trying to reevaluate my relationship with streaming in light of everything that's always. Spotify's the worst offender out there right now, with everything that's come out. But we live in a very interesting time, and it's worth. If you're somebody who releases music, and like me at least, I don't have any grand visions of being like a multi-million-dollar. I know who my audience is. It's like 5 people in a basement somewhere. So how do I want my music to be perceived by others? So that's why I'm taking it off of certain
Figuring
platforms.
out how to get it to the people who you can get it to. And
Yeah,
who want
without buying into like
compromising your
my beliefs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right on. The things that I keep hearing in the last few months, and the things that I'm learning more recently are those conversations are beginning in my head. So you're further along the path than I am, but I admire the choice, and and I'll probably ask you some questions.
Yeah, sure. I'm an open book.
Right on.
Yeah.
I really like. I was hip to that tune, and I was looking forward to hearing it. So I was hoping you played it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is your why? This is the actual big serious question. What is your why? What do you think drew you to this? Can you put your finger on it? Some people have very specific answers. Some people just go, I don't know. Like was there a moment in time, like you talked about being, at the concert, or like, as a little kid, I identify and have mentioned being, if there was a piano in the room, I was drawn to it as a little kid. If there's any kind of songwriting, or my brother's records, or, whatever, there's always been this thing. And the first band I was ever in, it was always, well, we have to start writing songs. And my friends went, what?
Right.
But then, thankfully, they did. They're like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's, to me, there was like, if you do one, you have to do the other.
Yeah.
So for you, why do you think you are a songwriter?
Well, I think I started because I wanted to, I guess, share insights, or like make insights about the world in song. I started with a lot of narrative storytelling type of songs, not from the point of view of me, when I was like 9 or 10.
Do you know the name of the first song you ever wrote? The title of the first song?
I don't know the title. It was how I had my dramatic era with that song with the band that had a soap opera song.
Yeah.
My first song was like my first attempt at a song was different. My first attempt at a song was emulating that. It was about a woman whose husband died in a car crash. Oh my
that's
God.
Hilarious. Why are you
so
laughing?
Great. But I didn't finish that one, so that was my first attempt at a song.
Well, but you remember.
I remember because it was so. Why did I think that was
9, 10?
Yeah, I was in elementary school.
Well,
It's my husband, obviously.
To me, it seems like a short leap from the song that was of the voice of a woman who was already
Oh
dead.
yeah, yes. No, that's what exactly. That's what I said. It's that era. But my first proper song that I remember writing, I don't remember if it was my first or second song. So I think I wrote 2 around a very similar era with my very first bandmate that I had, and she kind of helped me along with that. It was called Marianne. It was about trying to bring the character that Leonard Cohen was talking about of Marianne into like relating her to me as like a lonely kid who had recently moved or whatever, and trying to speak to Marianne and give her hope in a way that I was trying to kind of speak to myself to give her hope and like,
Sure.
stand up for what you believe in, and it's okay if people don't get it, essentially. So that was that song. That was the first song.
And you think
and it's okay.
is there other two questions. One, were you playing cello at that time? What were you playing?
Guitar. So my first instrument was piano, and then I picked up a guitar that was laying around the house all the time for as we all do, our middle school, high school bands, and then I started playing cello around middle school, but I didn't start playing it like this until college when I was still. I went to college very close to my home, because I wanted to save money on room and board.
Sure.
And I would play cello late at night in a way to not bother my brother. So I started, because he was in the room next to me, that's where I was like, oh, wow, this looks like it fits exactly on my thigh. And it did. And so that's how I started playing cello in this manner.
It's brilliant, really. And
I don't know.
the other, in writing at such a young age, was there...
Oh, I guess I didn't finish my thing, though. So I think I started trying to write about the world and, like, insights I can glean from it or whatever, because I'm a poet and I know how to interpret the world. But as I've grown older, I realize it's more and more, like, to try and understand myself and my role and my emotions in a world that often feels like it's going too fast. I have a very introverted person naturally who works an extroverted job because I love music, and it gives me time to reflect and slow down.
Well, that's an answer, and you brought back to where I was trying to get to, which was essentially, like, do you think that it brought you to a place where, like, you were able to reflect on, you know, what you're looking for as a child? Like, as a child, what brought you to that place? What, you know, and does it help coping with, you know, some people... My brain is going too fast for what's coming out of my mouth. That's okay. So some people find that their why is simply because I wouldn't know what else to do. Like, it's because I simply must. Others, it's about figuring out a connection with people, like finding a place to connect with somebody. Otherwise, there would be no place to connect in the world, their existence. And then still others, it's, you know, processing their own existence, which sounds like kind of where you're coming from. It's like processing, like, I don't know how this works, but this is how I'm processing, and by doing this, it allows me to process in this world that is really incomprehensible at times. So
yeah, I would say I probably lean towards the last one most of all.
Yeah,
but, you know.
well, right on. Well, I think the work that I've heard of yours is delightful, and in the most unique way. Like, over the course of 2 days, there were 30 artists, and
oh yeah, it was a fun time. It was a great show.
It was a great weekend and a great day, and myself and several other people thought that you were the cream of the crop that weekend.
No.
Well, I was, but there was a lot of people that did a lot of the same things, and yet in such a unique way, in such a interesting way, you had everyone's attention, and everyone's was completely keyed into what you were doing, and I thought it was fantastic, and I'm grateful that you agreed to come here. So it was really, you know, brilliant songs, and you should all go listen to her music.
Thank you. Ooh, I have a microphone. I can't do that. Thank you.
That's okay. Coming up next week is Liv Antoinette, who is a fantastic songwriter herself. The following, I didn't write the date, so that would be 16th, 17th, 18th. The 18th is myself and Gene are doing MeL Muzic duo at Evenflow, opening for the Tom Petty tribute, which I think they're called Last Dance. So that's exciting. That'll be a fun night. Playing with Kenny P. Mitchell and Last Chance. I'm a bass player in his band at Montrose Saloon on October 19th. Honey Spoon will be here on the 23rd. So that's the rest of this month here. MeLmusic.com, MELMUZIC.com, MeLmusic.com. What else? Thank you, Josette. Thank you, Blue, for your help. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. You guys are delightful. Let's see. Thank you, Gene Price, for all the work you do out there in the Ethernet world, internet world. This is please like and subscribe. We didn't have too many chatters. I still can't read it. I put it even closer. Let me see. What did you write? I see middle fingers. Is that this? No, that's not it. I need new glasses, I think. Pretty soon I'm just going to put it here. But it was delightful to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is really cool. And thank you to all who've been watching and been helping. This is a cool thing. So thank you.
I'm tremendously grateful. So I think that brings us to the dumb joke of the day. So the dumb joke of the day, we have to do a screaming goat check. Goat is working.
Okay.
Are you? This is Fred, the screaming goat.
Okay. I see that.
Fred, the screaming goat. And let's see. Dumb joke of the day.
Dun, dun, dun. Here, we could do like a little drum roll. Hold up.
So, this is sent to us from SeaWorld. Let's say 7007 SeaWorld Drive.
Okay.
It is the actual address for. So Blue is in charge of putting the dumb joke of the day in there.
Okay.
And which is fun because now we all learn the joke together. I used to know the joke. I don't know the joke anymore.
Great.
And sometimes I can't read. I'm nearly illiterate. And then you add in some maybe hastily written things, and it makes it fun for everyone.
Okay.
So, but so far so good. Yeah. Sometimes I have to ask him, what is this? What just happened? So this one comes from SeaWorld, 7007 SeaWorld Drive. Blue apparently knows the address to SeaWorld because he said that's the actual address. I don't know why he knows. I'll ask him later.
His name is Blue.
His name's
That's all you need to know.
It is. Okay. So in a typical joke-telling fashion, I'm going to ask the question, and you have to repeat.
Okay.
Where do killer whales play their cellos?
Where?
And you see, no, I don't know, Mike. Where do killer
I don't know, Mike. Where do killer whales play their cellos?
Thank you. That's perfect. Let's do this again. We're going to start again.
Sorry.
From the top.
And scene. Okay. I'm sorry.
Where do killer whales play their cellos?
I don't know, Mike. Where do killer whales play their cellos?
In the orchestra.
Oh, it was right in front of me. Oh. That's a good one, actually. I'm going to keep that one in the back pocket.
Right, that's good.
That's a good one.
Right.
Mhm.
He said, wait, she plays a cello? I got a cello joke. Right. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you all. Very fun. Time flies when you're having fun. So greatly appreciated. Like I said, next week. And we'll see you all soon. So on that note, we'll hit the outs. Thank you all.